I am Carnage, the Executioner, rapper, MC, writer, performer, producer, beatboxer. It didn't even start with hip hop. It started with the records that my mom used to play. My mom used to DJ in the house and play, you know, all of the old school classic R&B stuff like, you know, Aretha Franklin, Teddy Pendergrass, Anita Baker, Patti LaBelle, you know, Roger Troutman, Minnie Riperton, stuff like that is what got me into music. So before I knew exactly what music was or even wanted to do anything in music, I heard that stuff and I memorized those songs. If I hear those songs to this day, I know the arrangements, I know how the songs go. I just am not a singer, much of a singer, but I remember music really well, and I think it started with that, with my mom playing the classics. Then moved into, like, you know, MTV actually played videos at that time, and you know, they would, you know, I used to watch MTV and watch all the rock videos and, you know, all that stuff from, like, you know, Huey Lewis and the News, Chicago, Slayer, Police, Sting, AC/DC, you know, all that. I got into a whole bunch of different types of music. So I feel like when I started doing hip hop, when I started participating in hip hop culture, I already had a pretty good knowledge base from different types of music to pull from, which gives me a different range. You know, even though I can't sing, you know, I have a vocalist, a singer's aesthetic with the way I, you know, carry my vocals and hold my notes, and then the rock energy from rock stars and wanting to be a DJ helped me, you know, learn arrangement, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, everything I got from different types of music just contributed to my knowledge of hip hop. And when I became a hip hop artist, I already had, you know, a bed to scramble from. One was teaching myself how to scratch on a turntable when I was in a group home using a Pink Floyd record. So I basically taught myself how to scratch, and I would sneak when everybody was asleep and grab this Pink Floyd record and scratch on a Pink Floyd record. So it was kind of cool, and that was around the time I was introduced to Anthrax. You know, I heard Anthrax and I was like, oh, this is some like rock rap type of shit, you know. And then I realized the mixture of what Run DMC was doing, which I didn't realize when I was young. You know, when I was young, it was just kind of like you heard it, and it was really aggressive, and I was drawn to aggressive music that way, but I didn't really know what it was. Then one of my other favorite memories is when I first heard Public Enemy's Rebel Without a Pause record. And when I first heard that song, that's my favorite song in hip hop. And when I first heard that, it basically just grabbed me by the throat and it didn't let me go. And at that point, I realized that Chuck D from Public Enemy was my favorite rapper. So he's my favorite rapper of all time. It was a hobby. I didn't think that I wanted to be a hip hop artist. Like, even when I was writing and recording and stuff, you know, at my boy's house through a microphone, through a headphone that we use as a mic, we weren't trying to be like, we weren't like, oh, yo, we're gonna be rappers. We were just doing it because it was fun. And then it got tainted, you know, when I met somebody who said, you can get paid for this. And then we started recording demos, and we had like a demo deal with a manager. And I think that's when it kind of got jaded. You kind of switched my view of doing it for fun, and kind of fucked me up, I think. You know, and it made me realize that, hey, if I can get paid for this, why not try it? Or maybe I should do this and hope that people like me. And when I did it before, I wasn't worried about that. So by the time I got that age, you know, I was pretty much on my own. I was 18, 19 years old. My parents couldn't really tell me very much about, you know, not doing hip hop. But I was in school, I was going to college, I was doing everything I was supposed to do. So, you know, what can they say, you know? But I think everybody just kind of viewed it as a hobby. But in the back of my mind, I was working at trying to do it so that people can accept me and I can get paid from it. And, you know, that's a hard situation when something you love that much, you know, the vantage point from which you do it changes. I find inspiration from everywhere. I talk to a lot of people. I try to get to know new people. I try to surround myself with good people who are very interesting, people who are not negative. All of that is very inspirational, and you know, I talk to people and I learn their stories and things that people have to say about their lives. You know, they resonate with me to the point that I use tidbits of that to write sometimes. And plus I have a pretty elaborate story of my own, so I'm influenced by my own experience and how I interact with other people. There's all kind of different things that inspire me. Coming to shows and seeing new artists I've never seen before, that inspires me because I see what people are doing. I try to stay fresh with what's going on in the scene so that, you know, I can be in the know, because I've been doing music for a long time here, and people look to me to know some things. They look to me as an OG for some crazy reason, but what kind of OG can I be if I don't know the scene? You know, so I try to watch the scene, and I find that I'm very influenced by the scene as I watch it. One of the biggest challenges is it's a self-challenge. It's being okay with the fact that everybody is not gonna like your stuff, and being okay with the fact that it's okay to put out something that's not perfect. I think that's one of my biggest lessons. It took me a long time to do my first solo record because I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted everything to sound right. I wanted the timing to be right. I wanted to be at a certain place in people's eyes when they saw me perform, and all of that stuff just slowed me the fuck down. And just being able to say, you know what, to hell with all that. I want to make music and make the music. You know, just put it out there and see what happens and grow from it. You know, that was a really, really big challenge for me because I'm a perfectionist. You know, so that, I think that might have been my biggest one. Is, you know, just cracking out of the shell and being like, yo, this shit don't have to be perfect. Put a record out and grow in front of people. Grow on record. You know, let people see your growth from your first record to your next one. I want people to remember me as a guy who pushed the boundaries of performing and creativity in general as a hip hop artist. I think as hip hop artists we pigeonhole ourselves, and we try to live up to a certain image a lot. You know, we try to, you know, we go places, or we try not to go places that aren't hip hop. We try to do stuff that ain't too hip hop. You know, if it's something that ain't rap related or ain't hip hop, a lot of hip hop artists don't want to fuck with it. And I want to be known as the guy who could take my hip hop anywhere and get people's attention, even if they didn't like hip hop, they didn't know me, or it wasn't a hip hop event. Hip hop isn't about where you take it or where you're going. It's where it is with you and you take it. You know, like people will say, I'm not going to that event because it's not a hip hop event. I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to that hip hop event and I'm taking my hip hop with me. That's real hip hop. You know, so I want to be that guy. I want to be known as that guy.